Hello, my darling angels. How are you today? It's your boy Clear here. And as you can see, I just got my hair done today. And yo, peep this. I also dyed my hair green. I'm like a plant. Shout outs to my friend Veda, who came over and did my hair. That reminds me, I need to e-transfer them. But today I'm not talking about my hair or my pit hair. Today I am talking about my triggers, guys. And we're doing shadow work over here. Can we are doing the shadow work? We're doing the inner work. So on Monday morning, the dear Fabiola and I, we were out for a walk. We were actually going to Kensington Market. We live up in York in Toronto, but we were heading down to Kensington, and we get to walk through this beautiful beach and chat and hang out and touch bases and chew on things. And so Monday morning we're walking, and I found myself not just anxious, but angry. And I could feel underneath was like this dread. I was triggered at first. So I'm there walking in this beautiful space, and I'm having a strong intention to be more present in my life right now. And as I was being present in this beautiful ravine, also we've been looking at all these travel videos and all these nature sites, and I was like, wow, look at this beautiful natural setting I'm in now. Yet I feel uneasy in my soul. What is going on? So I really inquired within. I just took a step back internally and asked myself, like, why am I not enjoying myself in this moment? Fabi's having a good time and I'm there like not. And I realized that I was feeling triggered, And it comes back to my productivity and workaholism mindset, which is the opposite of being present, right? It's rushing. I felt like, why aren't we walking faster? It's Monday morning. I should be working. Yet here I am out walking in nature, just taking my time, strolling, and I'm going to miss something. That was what I felt in my mind. I was like, I feel like I'm going to miss something. Something is going to be lost because I'm wasting my time, even though it was one of the most enjoyable days, getting to be with Fab, getting to be in nature, getting to go to Kensington, and ended up being a really lovely day. Feeling as good as that was the first step for me, being aware of how I actually felt, and then inquiring deeper. And as I looked under that feeling of anxiety, and then under that feeling of anger, I found underneath that feeling of anger, this feeling of dread. I'm spitting, I'm worked up. This feeling of dread, where I was like, what's going to happen to life, to my sense of purpose in this, productivity obsessed pattern that I used to have. Again, speaking into existence, that is past tense, right? What we say, what we intend matters. So this old productivity mindset that I'm letting go of, that I've let go of, I'm letting go of it, was really gripping me. But as I was able to actually acknowledge the trigger and then speak about it, like I started speaking to Fabi about it, I started being like, wow, I'm feeling anxious right now. It's hard for me to be present. I'm working on relaxing. I'm working on resting and learning what that means, not just when I'm lying on the couch, but when I'm doing anything. Like even in this moment here with y'all, like I love doing these videos so much. They're so fulfilling to mine for many years. I've had different, pockets of doing it in different ways. And like, it's something that is really healing for me. So even just now, like being present with you, being present with this moment, feeling relaxed in it, feeling enoughness in this moment. This is something of that trigger on the walk, and the fact that it was triggering me to be subconsciously in the background thinking about how I should be doing something more productive. Because I became aware of first how I felt, and then what the subconscious storyline was behind that feeling that was causing it to be there. Because of that, now in this moment, I'm reaping the benefits. I'm reaping the benefits of figuring out what was triggered and what was underneath it for me. So I can just dig it up, trudge it out a little bit, and Say goodbye to it. Now, of course, it's not always that easy, and it can be. It can be that easy. Again, this moment is from my awareness of my lack of presence that was happening then, because I'm more aware of my presence now. And I'm more aware again of what it feels like to live inside my body and to allow my intuition and my awareness to rest in my body in an authentic way. Like I'm listening to what my body is saying to me. And yeah, one of the things it was saying was like, yo, Clear, like you could be even more present right now with the YouTube community. So boom, boom, boom. And studying my trigger. And it also happened again today. So as I may have spoken about with y'all, I had disordered eating patterns growing up. I started restricting food when I was 12, maybe. And I think it's interesting because my restricting of food has became intermeshed with my tendency to rush, my old tendency to rush. But again, I really found out that information today because I studied a trigger that I had while I was cooking. I was cooking up this beautiful couscous, which, by the way, has even more protein than quinoa. Fun fact. And, got these nice shiitakes fresh from the store and broccolini and garlic and onion. And I'm cooking it up and it's smelling good. And I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I think this dish is done. I've seasoned it again. And I went and I took a taste of just the couscous part of it. And it didn't taste as flavorful as I would have loved it to have tasted right off the bat. And in that moment, I got triggered and I looked down the meal and I started feeling like kind of hot behind my eyes and anxiety in my body. And I stepped back from the stove and I looked around the kitchen and I was just like, whoa. And I started cleaning up. I left the food. I just started cleaning up. And it took me a couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes or so, to say to myself, Clear, you're triggered. You're triggered right now, sweetie. What just happened there? And I went back and I studied the trigger. Because again, like my goal is self-awareness so I can nurture and foster and steward this lifetime that I have. So I want to take care of Clear as best I can. So I'm like, okay, there's information here. Let's dig in, let's dive in. And I actually processed by recording on my phone about a 4-minute just speaking out loud what I was noticing, and it turned into a prayer. And I think, one of these days I'm going to start a podcast and it's just going to be like a prayer/podcast vibe of me chatting with y'all. So I felt like what that turned into could be one of those podcasts if I become brave enough to release it one day, which I probably will, but it's just a little teaser for y'all. Yes, where was I? So yeah, I was like, okay, Clear, what triggered you? And I realized that for me, it was this feeling of rushing through making the food and not stopping and tasting each part of the meal as I was cooking it. Instead, I just kind of tried to rush through. And something that has been a part of my journey around food has been this anxiety that can come up when I'm preparing food. So it doesn't always show up when I'm actually eating the food. I really enjoy eating. I love eating food, but when I actually have to go to prepare a meal and have my hands on the meal, preparing the meal, that can bring up, in its mildest form, anxiety or resistance. And, in its more intense forms, I can just burst into tears and avoid eating just so I don't have to prep stuff. So that's a little bit about my journey with food that I'm still working through and working on. And I feel like today was a really big stride for me because I was able to acknowledge exactly what triggered me about the cooking. And it was the fact that, it didn't taste as good as I wanted because I hadn't taken the time at each step of the meal preparation to taste it and say, Clear, I care about you and I care how this food tastes to you and I care the nutritional value that it has. It's going to nourish this beautiful body we're living in and help carry us through the rest of this incredible day that we are graced with, right? Like that's the vibe I want to have with the food. But I had been missing the integrity, the consistency of that throughout the preparation of the meal. So getting to realize that that was something that actually triggered me. And even though it's related to the piece around rushing and productivity and time and presence, I was like, oh, like those are connected. And it was really healing as well for me to get to record that sound bite around really exploring what about the moment had triggered me and what the healing balm of the prayer was in its wake. So that's how I've been studying this week. The journey continues. Honestly, I'm really excited to be in a place where I am studying them in this way. I feel more connected with myself. I feel like I trust myself even more, which is something I really value, self-trust. And I also feel like I'm actually benefiting from the triggers instead of just quelling them or soothing of the triggers. And I, it's like healing. It's like if, I'm picturing like a hair follicle, and it's like in the hair follicle where there's like a pimple or pus or something. It's like I'm getting down in there with like rinsing it out. It's like I'm not popping it. It doesn't feel dramatic and painful like that. It just feels like I'm rinsing out this imaginary hair follicle with this like fresh cleanser. Let's cleansing it out. And it's not all gone. The infection isn't totally gone. And I imagine that these triggers will be in my life in some form, perhaps for the rest of this incarnation. Maybe. And that's okay. That's okay if that's the way it is. I love myself and I'm here for myself. And it's really my intention to like be consistent with my relationship with myself. And that includes, digging into these triggers and asking, like inquiring within, what's actually going on? How am I actually feeling and why? And what was the moment that triggered me? And what was the story around it? And how is this pattern repeating? So these are the questions I've been asking myself as I've been diligently and lovingly studying my triggers and doing that shadow work, baby, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes to manifest our dream life, is first knowing, what we want. And that's been a big, awesome side effect of me studying my subconscious and studying my triggers and doing my shadow work, is that I'm now able to feel worthy of what I actually want, instead of thinking that what I thought I was supposed to want is what I actually want. Ooh, hit the nail on the head, baby. Honestly, that has been something huge that I have been really learning in this time period, is like that I can actually ask for what I truly want instead of just what I thought I was supposed to want, which I kind of wanted. And even being able to tell the difference between those two. Like, I feel like I'm really becoming more conscious of what my body is telling me. Listening, just listening. So my friends, I hope this helped you to get clear and transmit your light. Excuse me. Some watermelon earlier. You know how it is. And I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you and I love you. And let me know any other questions or insights that you have below about your shadow work. And if you're new here, please subscribe, join the journey, hit the thumbs up, and let me know how you are, my sweet angels. That's all for today. I will catch you soon. Sending you so much love. Bye.